thought I'd make a bit of a video about this because it is an important video. So, the Boston Bruins. I'm not a big Bruins fan. I'm nowhere near a Bruins fan. If you saw my team rankings, they're 30th. And it's to be expected because I'm a Philadelphia Flyers fan. We've had our we've had our run-ins with Boston. They're just, and over the course of the past few weeks, I've kind of started to like Boston a lot more. And, ever since I've started talking about them in this channel, I think that, the hate that I've really had on the Bruins is kind of disappearing, to be completely honest with you. I mean, there's still going to be that bit of dislike. There's no way I can get rid of that. And there's no way my parents are going to let me get rid of that dislike. There's no way they're going to let me like the Bruins. But, the hatred's gone. And with them, they're heading into a time where they're really gonna have to make a difficult decision. They're gonna have to do one or two things. They're gonna have to go all in, or they're just gonna have to admit their cup window's closed and head towards a rebuild. Because, to be honest, it's not looking good for them. So their defense has a big hole in it currently. And they lost Zdeno Chara and Torrey Krug on their offense. That's a huge problem. Chara and Krug were very good top four defensemen. Krug was great offensively. Chara was a great leader. And, it really sucks that they lost them. And, it's a huge problem. And, there's some defensive players that they've been interested in. I think Mackenzie Weegar was one of them. And, I thought they had, I put Johnny Boychuk on my board here because, Boychuk, some people were saying maybe they can go out and get Boychuk for a 1-year deal or something. Maybe, I'm not too sure. Maybe even the Bruins could go pick up someone like Cody Ceci, Carl Soder. Actually, no, Soderberg's not offensive. Simi Vatanen's out there. Andy Green's out there currently. There's just all these players out there, and I just think that, if they go out for these guys, it could help out their defense. But, it could. By the way, their defense is still going to be punctured. There's no way you can really replace those two insanely good defensemen. And it's a huge problem because, who you have on your defense then, you have Charlie McAvoy, Brandon Carlo, John Moore, Connor Clifton, and then you love Lazon and Grzelcyk. There's really not... I mean, McAvoy and Carlo, they've shown points where they can do great offensiveness, but all of those players besides that, it's going to be a big puncture. So, yeah, you basically just lost your top two defensemen. And, bringing in Boychuk could be a good bottom pair, but that still has a huge hole in it. There's guys up there like Sami Vatanen. And Vatanen showed us that he can be he's a very underrated guy. And, if they can bring Vatanen in, that would help out the Bruins a lot. But I think that, with their $11 million in cap space, they're going to have to really decide whether they go all in or just not in at all. Because, there's players out there and we're going to go offensively for a second. There's players out there like Vatanen, Hoffman's still on the market, Anthony Duclair, all of these good, solid offensive and defensive players that they can potentially go pick up to help out their team. They need to make a decision whether they do it now or they just head towards a rebuild. And I think they'll pick the now. Because really, this year, or it depends on what happens next year. If they can re-sign, by the way, if they can re-sign Jake DeBrusk, I don't know what's going to happen next year. And, with that, with their offensive impact, they didn't really lose much in offense. Well, then they didn't lose any to free agency, is what I'm trying to say. But they probably lost some for the majority of the season. They lost David Pastrnak off of an injury that will take him into March, which is almost half of next season, depending on how long it is. Then Marchand, who had a sports hernia, which is going to take it into February. And that's a huge problem. So, it's really just it's gonna affect Boston badly. And I just think that, they have to choose if they want to go all in or not. Because, losing Pastrnak and Marchand, the Bruins are a scary team enough with them. If they lose, even if they lose one of them, let's say they just lose Marchand until February, that's huge. they lose both Pastrnak and Marchand, that's a massive problem. So they're really to sustain that success, Don Sweeney's really gonna have to bring in someone from free agency to hold in there for Pastrnak before Pastrnak and Marchand come back. Now, Mike Hoffman did say that he was taking offers that were 1 year, $6 million, and that could be what Boston really needs. You know, they have cap space at $11 million in cap space. Don't ask me how, but they do have $11 million in cap space around there. And that's they kind of need to go out and get Hoffman if they're really gonna do this. Because apart from Pastrnak and Marchand, there's Bergeron, Krejci, I guess Charlie Coyle, and everyone else. So it's really just a huge problem on the offensive side of things. And, you know, they brought in Craig Smith. Who will help. And I think that's why Don Sweeney hasn't really made much moves, let alone done anything, let alone sign Craig Smith, because they need that offensive help. And I think, you know, Craig Smith isn't the guy you want to go out for to help out your team significantly, but he's still a solid player. And I think that, you know, with Boston, they're really going to have to find out a way to replace the guys on the defense, which Boychuk and Vatanen could replace. I don't even think Boychuk could. Maybe Sammy Vatanen. And then they got to replace stuff on the offense, which, you know, maybe they throw out a contract offer to Hoffman. Mackenzie Weegar's out there. You know, they throw, you know, Craig Smith heading into that team. It's just a huge problem all in all for Boston. And they're really going to have to choose whether they go all in or not. Because if they go all in, they're going to have to sign Hoffman for a year. Keep him on the team when Marchand and Pastrnak get back. And when Marchand and Pastrnak get back, if you have Hoffman, that's going to be monstrous for the Bruins. But nonetheless, they have a huge problem heading into next season. So I would be very worried about next season. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you enjoy, do make sure to like the subscribe button. Let me know what you guys think the Bruins should do to solve their problems, because it's not looking too good for them. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.